All right. So this is Reginald Kuakaru, and I am here this morning with Michael Peaks. And Michael Peaks is a spiritual coach and mentor that is helping people develop. So that's what he does. And I think that he's coming from a very unique perspective, coming from the Kemetic perspective. So Michael, can you tell me a little bit about yourself? Who are these people that you are helping, Michael? That you're wanting to help?
How you doing, Reggie? I want to help the people that's living a street lifestyle to live a purposeful lifestyle, from the street life to a purposeful life.
From the street life to the purposeful life. Now, tell me, Michael, why is that even important to you? What makes that important for you?
Well, it makes it important is I mean, that's where I came from, and I know that there's more to life now than that. It's way more, and it's even simple to attain. It's just you got to change your mindset. Your
Okay. So you say you lived that life. Can you tell me a little bit about that? Like, what was your mindset then? And then we'll talk about where you are now and where you've come now and what that's done for you. So what was the street life like for you when you were living it? So how many years ago was this,
Well, I'm 54 now, so I lived the street life from 15 to 40 something, so, but I mean, I was just a manipulative type of person, man. I've always needed control of every situation. It didn't matter. If I wasn't in control, I was going to find a way to get control of that situation and take it and use it to the fullest of my advantage.
Okay, so why was that important for you to be in control?
Just how I looked at the situation, that, hey, if you're going to be a boss, you're going to be a boss. You got to control the masses. That's how I looked at it. I looked at it kind of like it was a game, I guess. If I didn't, it was a game in my mind that I needed to play to get over on this person. I had to. That's just how I was back then. And I mean, from selling drugs to doing drugs to all of that, going to prison, all of that stuff. That was part of the game, and I really did accept that part of the game, and except for the prison part. I didn't like that, but the other stuff, the drugs and selling drugs, and that stuff was a thrill to me, So as long as it was mentally a thrill to me, I kept doing it. I didn't see nothing wrong with it, but at the same time, it did cause a lot of shame and guilt, and I was on like an emotional roller coaster. Like, I wouldn't go around my family sometimes. I wouldn't go around my family for like 6 months to a year. Then I'll pop back in.
Gotcha. So tell me, like let's go back to when you were young. What got you involved in the street life?
Well, when I was young, when I was about 15 years old, 14, 15, I think we had moved to a neighborhood, and that's when the drugs first came in. That's when the crack first came into our city. Like, so, you know what I'm saying? All of the young kids, all the old guys was putting the young kids on to go out there to sell it. So that's how I started. But then, like I said, my mentality was, I want to be with a dude that's giving me the stuff. I want to be him. So I was like,
you wanted to be the entrepreneur.
Yeah, I wanted to be the entrepreneur. So I was like, by all means necessary, and this was when I was 15. And then my mom found out. She was like, she went cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs on me, like, and told me, she was like, if you're going to be doing that, she said, because you taller than me, you bigger than me. So I know I ain't going to beat you. I can't do that. She said, but you ain't going to be living here. So you got 1 week. So this was when I was like 15. So about within a week, I moved in with a 26-year-old woman. You know what I'm saying? She had a 10-year-old daughter, and I'm only 15 and a half. Like, so that right there.
Now you say you moved in with her. Was she like mom, or was she the girlfriend?
No, she was my girlfriend. She was
okay. Okay.
No, no, she was my girlfriend. Yeah, she was my girlfriend. So her daughter used to call me dad. They used to trip. My dudes them used to trip. They used to be like, dude, she 10. You only like 5 years older than her. She said, Dad, can you come and help me do this? So that,
Wow.
you know,
Wow.
so
So how
but
was that? How were you able to, like, at 15 to even reconcile that? I mean, she's calling you dad. What did you think about being a dad then? How could you think about it?
I used to just laugh, man. I used to just laugh. I took it as a joke, like it was funny. I was just, you know what I'm saying? I was looking at the whole situation as, damn, man, I'm 16 in high school, 10th grade, got me a grown ass woman at the crib. That's how I was looking at it. I wasn't looking at it as being no other way besides that. You know, people in school was like looking at like, oh, he got him a damn grown ass woman. You know what I'm saying? So
Right, right.
that was my mentality of it. I was looking like that shit. That was the coolest thing in the world. But now I look
So
back.
did you have a sense of any responsibility at that point, or it was just like, I'm just having fun?
Well, no, I mean, I was hustling in the streets, so I was getting money. So I would give her, I would throw her $400-500, but I didn't know where it went. I just know, I mean, I know you can't live for free, but I never paid no bills besides just give her some money, and it wasn't like on a like every month I had to do it. It was just like I just did it when sometime boom here, you know. So I still kicked it with my dudes like I was normal. Like that was just my woman. That's where I went and laid my head at night. You know what I'm saying?
Gotcha, gotcha. Now, did she knew how old you were?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I stole her from my cousin. He was my cousin was my cousin was like 26. So they was together and I seen her one day and she lived not too far from where I live. So I just started stopping by there when I'm strolling down the street, you know. So
Wow, wow, wow. So did you ever achieve your, I guess your dream of like becoming the dealer, the
oh,
entrepreneur?
I mean, I did that for a little while, but you know, with that, as time goes on, like after I was a dealer for the people that I associated with for a little small group. You know what I'm saying? That's how I became in, and then
So
um
you weren't like a big like distributor or anything.
not right then, but like then I had shot my best friend in the head with like we was messing around with this gun. You know what I'm saying? Like, what y'all
Okay,
doing?
so take us to the moment of the hospital where you were saying so what happened related to that at the hospital that she
Well,
went off?
when we went to the hospital, like my dude's mom was at work, so they called her. She came to the hospital, so she asked me to run the story down. I ran the story down to her how we already said. The cop came and he was like, "Yo, it was a problem with that story," and he was like, uh, "Y'all couldn't have been running down no alley and it's powder wounds all around the wound, you know, powder burn like gunshot." But I didn't know what that meant, so I'm like, I don't know what. But then she jumped up and was like, she just went straight off on him, like, hey, instead of questioning my 15-year-old son's friend, y'all need to be out there finding the boom, 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 blase, blase. And she was like, don't come back here no more without no information about who shot my son. And dude, they jumped up and left. I thought they was about to beat both of us down. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, oh,
Wow,
they was about to
wow.
get beat down. They never came back. And I was like, so, but then after that had happened, me and well, the chick that I was with, it was like too much pressure on her, you know what I'm saying? So we started having a little bit of problems. So it was my year that I was supposed to graduate school. So I graduated and we was having big problems because of she didn't want that around her daughter like that, you know what I'm saying? So some stuff like that. So when we broke up, it was kind of like that was, you gotta understand, I was like 16 at 15 and a half. So that was my first time ever feeling some love type stuff. So I was really deep, like in love, but it was like
Hmm.
she wanted to just end it, you know. So but I didn't. So I was like, we was having beef, and then I guess I said, well, there ain't no guess. I started talking about hurting her and myself, you know what I'm saying? So my mom and then was like, hold up. So my uncle was down here from New Jersey, and he was like, "Dig, you just gonna go back to Jersey with me. Get your shit." He was like, "You need to be separated for a minute. You gotta come on." It was, and it was like he was my uncle, and he. It was like I ain't have no choice for real. It was like, get your shit, come on. You know, when we back to Jersey, I was in the car driving back with him. So I was down there for 2 years. I went to college. I went to the culinary school down there. You know,
Okay.
and, I worked under 2 culinary Olympic gold medal chefs for like 2 years down there. That was
So
my
he's doing some cooking.
That was my apprenticeship. Yeah, I was
Okay.
cooking, doing it all. But so after 2 years, I had to go to classroom, do classroom work. I did that for about 3 months, and I was like, man, I know all this shit. I'm going back to Ohio. You know what I'm saying? I'm over the chick now, and I already know I'm all the way over. So I'm like, okay, I'm going back home. So that's what I did. Came back home, started back hustling, and within 6 months, I was in prison. I was going to prison, but it was only for like, I only really had to go to prison for 6 months. So it was a game to me. You know what I'm saying? But I could have.
Okay. So what happened that you ended up going to prison for? Hey family, this is Reginald Kuakaru. I hope you're enjoying this interview. Here at KCL, we strive to give you information that is going to help you unlearn negative Christian programming and live life boldly, authentically, unapologetically, and on your terms without guilt and shame. But unlike other sites, we are more than about just information. This is about you really getting transformation. So we're actually getting ready to open our new community for registration. Spots are going to be limited for this new opening, but you can get on the wait list and get notified before everybody else. You can go to www.jointhekclfamily.com, get on that wait list, and we can notify you when registration is going to be opening. Back to the interview.
Well, I let somebody use my car, and they went to the store to go get some beer. And they didn't have no ID. So when the dude told them they can't get the beer with no ID, they left up out the store. The dude grabbed one of them and he hit him with the 12 pack and got back in. My car was parked right in the front. He got back in my car and just drove on the way. Well, they got my license plate. So even though I wasn't there, you know, and I wouldn't tell. So that's why I went to prison. I went to prison for 6 months because I wouldn't tell on who it was. I knew who it was. I gave him some street names. You know what I'm saying? I gave them some street names. They was like, so you let some street name dudes use your car? I was like, yep. So, because I knew I had to go down for a lineup and everything. They couldn't even pick me out of the lineup. They was like, the dude ain't here, you know, because I wasn't. But I wasn't going to tell them my best friend now. So.
Wow. So, I mean, that's just something about the system there was you weren't there. They couldn't place you there. I mean, how could they even sentence you to prison?
Man, trust me, I fought it, but they wanted me to get that number because you gotta understand back then they was just trying to give people numbers or black people too. They were just trying to give black people numbers so that they can't go out here and get the jobs and buy the guns.
Now, when you say give them numbers, what do you mean? Explain that to a non-street person.
Oh yeah, prison numbers. You know, a number is a prison number. Like I got 2 of them. It's what your name ain't your name no more. You go by your number. You know,
Gotcha.
I still remember both of them because I mean that's just something. Somebody calling you that and you got to answer. That's your response. You don't answer that, it's gonna be some bullshit jumping off. So,
wow, wow, yeah. So now you got out of prison. So what happens then? So what do you do next?
After I got out of prison, I just started working, man. Like I was like, man, let me do this work, little, you know. But I only did 6 months, so it was like a little game. But I was on probation. When my stipulations of my release was on probation. And I had to drop urines and I was getting dirty urine. So this lady, my probation officer was putting me put it like this. I took 3 years I was on probation for 5 years. I did 3 years, and all of them 3 years I did mostly in treatment centers from having dirty urines. But at that time, it was just weed. At that time, I wasn't using no hard drugs like that time.
Okay, so then after then, so you were going in and out of rehab centers or
rehab centers, and like 1 6 month, one was for 6 whole months. That was like, cause when I on a dirty urine, if it's only weed, they can't put you back in prison. And I already knew that. I knew regardless of what, they could never send me back to prison for having weed in my system. So I just looked at it like the most they can do is, I think 10 days in jail is the most they could do. So I didn't care. It was like, I didn't care. But then she started putting me in them treatment centers. And I was like, I was sitting in there like, oh my God. Because these people was telling stories that I couldn't even relate to. You know what I'm saying? Like, what the hell they talking about? Like, I was thinking I was manipulating my way through that shit. I told them whatever well, one of them was I couldn't get out until I finally submit to what submit. So I was like, I just played their game with them. You know what I'm saying? I played the game with them. Like, and finally got off probation and had a daughter. You know, met. Well, hold on. Let me.
So how old were you when you finally got out probation? What age was this?
Like 23.
Okay.
About 23. So
okay.
I had my daughter the next year, but I met my daughter's mom. She was in a halfway house that when I was going to, and when I was in the treatment, they had sent us to these places and you have to go to like meetings, AA meetings or something like that. Had to go there. So I met my daughter's mom. She was from a federal prison. She was a federal prisoner. So I, like I say, I like bad girls, bad, you know what I'm saying? That was just that was my choice then. That's how I was. And like a Bonnie and Clyde type. I wanted a Bonnie and Clyde type woman. That's what I look for. So
wow.
Me and her had a daughter, and she had came home from prison. She changed her ways to some Christian, being a Christian, So I was like, okay, I can do that. I did that with my mom. I didn't really do it with my mom's, but because I used to get whoopings to go to church. But I was like, okay. So I tried to do that, you know what I'm saying?
For love, you tried to give it a good try for love.
Yeah, so I joined the church, got baptized, and I was like, then I stopped liking her church, and then I went to my mom's church again and got baptized there, like all within the same year, like maybe 12 months apart. So I was like, shit wasn't working for me, man. It was just like,
okay. So what you said wasn't working. So what wasn't working for you?
Because church, they had so many rules that it was their rules was going against what was rules to me that I had thought, you know what I'm saying, what I put in my mind, it was conflicting, man. It was just causing me a lot of little, so I just gave it up totally, gave it up totally, broke up with my daughter.
Gave what up? What up?
Gave the church, I gave it up. I just said, I can't do it no more,
Okay.
And then
okay.
We broke up, left my daughter's mom because of that, because I just told her I ain't on that shit. She didn't care. She just wanted me to go. It didn't have to be her church. She just wanted me Sunday. Like I was like, nah, I ain't doing it. No. So we broke up.
So no, go ahead.
After we broke up, I met the next chick was a stripper. So now I'm trying to, she's younger than me, so I'm trying to manipulate the whole situation because she got a whole bunch of friends and they strippers too. You know what I'm saying? And I'm like, I'm fascinated with the money they making, but they need a manager. They need somebody like me. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to ease my way into the game like that. So I came up, I had a nice apartment. As I was hustling, I had a nice apartment. I was like, well, shit, why don't y'all use my crib? You know what I'm saying? Blase. And she was with it. And I moved them all in, bro. Everybody, like 5 different chicks. I thought I was, I even had a job. I even had a little job then. So I was like, I work third shift, so I don't have to be there when they doing their business. You know what I'm saying?
Okay, so tell me about that. What's happening? Because I hear you said, okay, you moved them in, they had a job. What were they doing?
They was like booking calls, like, escort calls, like guys come over there. They offer, this is what they say, they offer mutual masturbation, adult toy shows, and hot oil massages. That was, you know what I'm saying? That was the thing. It was called Chocolate Delights. They were, you know what I'm saying? They was all sisters, young sisters, and we used to put the ad in the newspaper, man, and then
an ad in the paper?
In the newspaper, yeah. Cost $25 for 3 days.
Wow.
Do that, and then they get calls, man, and then the people come there, boom, boom. I'll be at work, you
So
know.
so tell me how do you do the ad to where you're like not like, I mean, having police knocking on your door like, hey, wait a minute, this.
It's an escort service. That back then it was legal. I mean, I ain't gonna say it was legal, but you could go put an ad. You put it in the local little column of your paper. It say escort. You know what I'm saying? And then when they call, that's when you do the spiel game. You know what I'm saying? Thank you for calling
Wow.
Chocolate Delights or Chocolate Fantasy. You know, we offer mutual masturbation, adult toy shows, and hot oil massages. That wasn't illegal. Wasn't no sex involved. No sex.
Wow. Okay, so you're doing this. So explain. So talk
So
about that more.
I ended up getting a little job and everything at night, third shift job, so I can be gone. Cause the people that came, they be spooked if they see somebody, you know, a dude there. So that with the women there is cool, you know. So that it worked out like that for a
So
little.
were y'all splitting the profits or anything, or did you? So you
Yeah,
had.
I was getting out of all the calls that came there, I was getting like $40. You know what I'm saying? So in a day, they'd do about 10 or 12 calls. I was getting $400 for nothing. Just go to work and come back home, and it'd be boom. Here you go, babe. Here you go, babe. You know what I'm saying?
Wow.
I was like, I was
So
cool.
you didn't really need the job. It was just like, I just need something to do.
I just needed something to do to get out of the way. So my dude got me on at this little factory on third shift with him. You know what I'm saying? So I was like, oh yeah. So I did that. My girl, the main girl, she got pregnant. So I was having another kid. So she was like, oh no, we gotta shut this down. Nah. I was like, oh no, you gotta get out of here. We ain't shutting nothing down. We'll shut you down.
Wow.
So I ended up kicking her out. And after that, we had some problems because like she kept having her cousin them break into my house and flat my tires on my car. So finally they broke in and they found my little stash and they stole it. So then I went in straight retaliation mode on her cousins and them. And I ended up going to prison this time for 7 years. You
Oh
know?
wow.
Yeah, so I did
So now,
7.
when you say you went into straight retaliation mode, what happened?
I ain't know who did it. So my neighbors, the neighborhood I had moved to at the time, it was like I was the only black dude there. And my neighbors just watched. So as soon as I came back and I found out my house had been broken into, I went and knocked on the neighbor's door. I already knew she done called the police on me about 5 times. So let me go find out what her nosy butt know. And she knew exactly who she told me the kind of car it was. I knew exactly whose car it was. So I was like, oh. So I called them and told them like, hey, they was like, they acting like I ain't know what happened. I was like, all right, man. Then I said, so you gotta suffer the consequences, whatever happened. So later on that night, I knew where they hang out at. A car was in the driveway, about 4 other cars. So I was like, all right. So I went over there, got 2 big gas cans, poured gas all into all the cars, and set all the cars on fire.
Oh.
Set them all on fire, and then, but they knew I did it. They knew I did it because I was so pissed. I was like, I said I left a message on the voicemail like those cars is just the beginning, but I need my money and stuff. So they turned the police over,
Wow.
turned the tape over to the police. So they was looking. I mean, shit, wasn't up. That was me. You know what I'm saying? So
Wow.
that's how. And they was, but they was trying to charge me like the car was in the driveway, but it was like 12 people in the house. So they was trying to say that the car could have blowed up and kept the house on fire. So everybody in the house, they was trying to like charge me with a charge on them people. And I was like, oh nah, hold up. I wasn't trying to hurt nobody. I was just trying to mess they shit up like they broke them up, you know, but they don't work like that. The law is the
Yeah.
law, I guess, you know. So they told me 31 years. That's what they told me the first time. I was like, nah. So then
Man.
we was fighting and they finally came back with us 7 years. I was like, that's better than 31, man. I did do something. That finally sunk into my mind. You know what I'm saying? I did do something. It ain't like you didn't do
Okay.
nothing. You know what I'm saying?
So what?
So
So now you're in prison for 7 years. Did that like start to like shift your thinking at all, or what
yeah,
happened during that time?
it kind of like when I went to prison, I joined back up to the Christians You know what I'm saying? But then I was like, nah, I would start going to church. Then I just wasn't feeling that. Then my cousin was in there, so he was a Muslim. So I did that. I mean, basically, um, it's basically to me, Muslim and Christianity is the same. It's just a different. It's just disciplinary. Muslims pray too much for me. I couldn't get into all of that every day. You got no, that was too much for me. You know, so
Wow.
I just ended.
Gotcha.
I was into that for like 2 years, but then after that, I was like, I can't do this. There's no way I'm gonna do this on the street. You know,
Gotcha.
I'm already thinking of, I'm already plotting my moves for the street, even though I'm 3 years in. So I was like, hey, I'm gonna go out here. I got skills at being a chef. I'm gonna put that to work. You know, I'm gonna put that to work. So that's what I
Okay.
did.
So you say you're gonna put what skills to work now?
My chef skills. I went to culinary. I was in prison when I was
Yeah.
like, "Dude, I got my chef skills. That was my plan. That was my focus the whole time when I got out. And I focused on that for like 3.5, 4 years, you
Okay.
know. So plus
So
when I
then you
went,
got out and you're gonna use the chef skills. So did you get a chance to do that?
yeah, as soon as I like within a week I got out, I was making I had like a $55,000 job. This was in 2004. I was making 55,000. I only been out of prison like maybe 4 months. You know what I'm saying? Some people was like, I know people that was only making 35,000 that was doing their job for 10 years. I came straight home, but I focused that. Now that I know, learned the Kemetic principles, I could see where I
Yeah.
manifested that. I
Yeah.
manifested that all that time. And it
Yeah.
happened. It happened exactly the same way because I was tripping. I was like, man, it happened exactly the same way I was dreaming about that shit.
Yeah.
And it,
Yeah. No, and that's one of the things that I recognize too, is that when I started to learn these principles, it wasn't that the principles just shifted me totally. It's like they confirmed things that I kind of already knew. You know, I just intuitively knew. And I can look back at points in my life and go like, dang, this is exactly what I did to do this, to get this. So that's what you were saying.
yeah, exactly. And I mean, and it was a beautiful thing, man. For I was working, but I always been like I felt like since I worked under some culinary Olympic gold medal chefs, you know what I'm saying? They taught me everything I knew. I would critique people's other people, even my own bosses. You know what I'm saying? Critique what they try to do. Like, man, that's wrong, man. That shit, pooch. Man, what school you go to? I'll say something like that. Cause I know when I throw my credentials out there, people be like, oh yeah, they know who I'm talking about. So, and I mean, I lost a lot of jobs like that. You know what I'm saying? But
Okay.
I had a lot of jobs. I would always get a good job. But um,
But the attitude was a little bit rough.
yeah, the attitude, the whole mindset was just like I was still on some, like I wasn't really hustling no more. I was more of I would buy drugs to do myself for real, to party with myself. Not I would make a little bit of money, but I wouldn't make the money that I invested into it by the end of the partying session that I might have. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So I still take a
Right.
loss, and it just
So
became like
how long were you doing the chef thing? So how long did that last?
I chef for 30 years. I did it for
Okay.
30 off and on. I mean, from the time I got out of prison to 22 years. 22 years to
Okay.
3 years ago. 3 years ago was when I stopped. I
And
just
what made you stop?
uh got my mouth. I just got tired. I said something to some guy at work, like he was cutting something with a knife wrong, young guy. So I was like, man, I was like, what idiot showed you how to do it like that, man? And he pointed over to the executive to the executive chef. It was my boss.
Wrong,
Hey,
wrong.
and it was like after that, everything went downhill between me and him. You know what I'm saying?
I can imagine.
So one night we went to a bar, man, and he was talking shit. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, man, we ain't even at work right now, bro. I was like, if you even open your mouth again, even to put your drink in it, I said, I'm gonna beat you up. And he was a little short guy, little short white guy, you know what I'm saying? He was just drunk. and I don't really drink. I might drink a beer, maybe two, but I ain't get ready
Right.
to be. I ain't get ready to be like that. So he was talking, and one of my other friends like, Mike, come on, man, let's just go, man. So the next day, I'm thinking I was off for the next 2 days, but he was so drunk, I didn't even think he remembered it. I didn't even care. It's just we wasn't at work. So when I go to work, they fired me. They told me that he don't want to work with me no more because what happened at the bar. So I was
Yeah.
already telling the GM, like, you can't fire me for something that happened at a bar when this fool was drunk talking shit. You know what I'm saying? Nah, it ain't working that way.
Right.
So it's like, well, that's what it is. I talked to corporate, boom, boom, boom. So I was like, all right, gave him the keys because I was the chef. He was the executive chef. I was the kitchen chef. You know what I'm saying? So he was just like executive over not only our restaurant, but another couple restaurants. But his
So
main office,
he wasn't doing the work. You were doing the work in the kitchen. He
yeah,
was managing.
he was just overseeing like 3 different restaurants. So he'd be at ours maybe for 2 or 3 days, and then he'd be at another one 2 days, or you know what I'm saying, between 3. So, but
Yeah.
they was like, well, we talked to corporate, boom. I gave him the keys. I went home. I already know I ain't crazy. So I called a lawyer up and told him what went down. So he was like, nah, they can't do that. So I was like, how much I need to give you to take the case? And then he was like, first file for unemployment. Like this was before the pandemic hit. He was like, file for unemployment. So I was like, oh yeah, yeah, yeah. So I did. They denied it. So I ended up, make a long story short, I ended up getting the unemployment. The pandemic hit, and then in the pandemic hit, they settled out of court, and they ended up having to pay me my whole salary for 1 whole year. You know,
Okay. Wow.
so when I got that check, I was like, hey, and that was like when I first started doing like the Kemetic, when I first like found KCL, man. That was like, and I had first,
And let's talk about that. So how did that happen?
I was like I said, I lost my job, so I was binge watching all kind of videos, and I was trying to be. I went to being a Hebrew Israelite for a little while. You know what I'm saying? For a few
Okay.
months. People really thought I was crazy. Then my mom thought I was crazy. They was like, Jesus black. What is you talking about, boy? Like you really going to hell. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Look, like, so I'm like, but then after I got into that, I seen that was like, it was the same thing as being a Christian, but it was a little bit more hate, a little bit more aggression to it. You know what I'm saying? I was like,
Yeah.
it wasn't registering with me. So I was watching videos, and I came across your video, you know, something about, you was talking about Osiris. And I was like,
Mm-hmm.
but it was a kind of long video. So I was like, man, I ain't got that long to be watching this video. But as I moved away, it kept pulling me back to that. Cause I had a dream, and when I went back the third time to the video and started watching it again, it was like what was being said was something I was dreaming about. Like I already heard, already know that. Already, it's like boom, something just, I don't know how I knew what you were saying, but I knew what you were saying. It
Mm-hmm.
was like, and I was like, what the hell? And I was like, how's this dude? I didn't even know you. I was like, how's this dude know what's going in my mind, you know? So
Mm-hmm.
then after
Mm-hmm.
that, I started binge watching your videos, and I started like looking, and I remember you had the one where you put the coat hanger in your hand, and it moved to, and that shit did that. When I did that, I was hooked, bro. I ain't lying. I was like, and I started
That
just
was a Magneto experiment.
I was just paying attention to everything you were saying after that. And it was like, and I was applying that to my life, you know what I'm saying? And I found out that my whole belief system it was in shambles. You know what I'm saying? It
So
was
so
in
let's
shambles.
talk about that there. Let's talk about how you used to think to how you now. What's the switch? What's the change now?
Man, I used to think out of all my thoughts back in the day was out of fear. Out of fear that somebody's gonna find the real me out. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
I was scared that somebody was gonna find out who I really was. That's,
Mm-hmm.
and you know, I love who I am, and who I love who I was back then, because it's all
Mm-hmm.
part of me. You know, it's just now my mindset is on positive stuff. Back then my mindset was on negative. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? On judgmental, being judgmental. I had to judge people because I was scared to judge myself. I wanted them to be on the same level as me, regardless of how good they is. I would always find something that they was messed up because of this. They was messed up, but it really wasn't that. It was me trying to be wanted just to be them, because that's where I wanted to be, and I couldn't get there. So by me not being able to get to where they was, there was something wrong with them. You know what I'm saying?
Okay. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that's the mindset I had. But KCL helped me change that to where, hey, I can accept everybody for who they are because I'm a unique individual. I'm divine, and I got my own journey. They got theirs and that's theirs. And now that I look back on my journey, especially since now I know that I chose this journey. And I chose this journey. I chose all of it. You know what I'm saying? But it's I could see where all of it came this way, and now I can see where it's going this way. I can see where it's going, and I needed prison. I needed to do the drugs. I needed to live with the 26-year-old woman. I needed all of that to be where I'm at right now, or I wouldn't be. And I'm happy with it right now. I'm as happy as I ever been in my life for the past about 2 years, man. And normally I was in a vicious cycle, man. I would do good. And for 8-9 months, I do good, have a job, save money. Boom, all of a sudden, oh man, I'm gonna go ahead and try to do this get some more money and get this big old drug pack, and then fall back down because here I go again, trying to doing something and looking for different results. You know what I'm saying? I would go think I'm about to be a drug dealer, go start selling again, then go meet some girls and jack all the money off again and back to the square zero. We'll do that. I was caught up in a cycle like that for like 15 years. I mean, my family really didn't know because I maintained everything, man. I maintained the force. I was a chameleon. I maintained everything. Nobody knew but a close few people, and they didn't really know it was a problem. They just thought like, man, you shouldn't be doing that. You know what I'm saying? They ain't know how much was being done or nothing.
So if you had to say there was one principle that you learned that really shifted you, what would you say that would be? One KCL principle that you learned that shifted you.
My belief system, changing my belief system, the belief system, my habitual thoughts, my thoughts, you know what I'm saying? Changing how I think.
So the idea that your thoughts and beliefs create your reality.
Yes, that's the most, to me, that's the module 1 is the most important module out of all the modules to me, because if you get that, you get this. You can get this.
It shifts you. Yeah.
Yeah. If you can get module 1, everything else will come into play, man. It take time. It's repetitious. You know what I'm saying? It's not going to happen overnight, because you got to understand your mind didn't get the way it was overnight. So it ain't going to change tonight.
No, exactly.
My mind fights me sometimes. You know what I'm saying? It fights the change, but I have to recognize that. I like to call it exposing it, because if I expose something, just like when a lie is exposed, the lie is over with. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that's how I look at it. When my shame and stuff is exposed, or my guilt or something about something, or fear about something is exposed, it's easier for me to stump it out. You know what I'm saying?
Okay. Yeah. And that's and I agree with you on that. And you were talking about the African Mind Rewire course, but yeah, that module there, and that's one of the reasons why I put that first, is because if you really grasp that, everything else becomes like it becomes the foundation for everything else you build on then. And if you understand how your mind creates your reality, man, it empowers you beyond belief. I mean, it shifts everything for you, and you can no longer remain in victim mode.
No, you can't. It puts that, it breaks that forever. You know what I'm saying?
Forever.
It breaks it. But
yeah.
Like I said, that's the most important one, man, because it just allows you to, like, for me, it just allowed everything else. I can go back and look and see how my negative thinking back in the day was giving me my reality. And I can go back and look at it like, dude, you was getting exactly what you was doing exactly what you wanted to do if you think about your mindset and where you was. And I can go back and truly say, 100% say, I exactly been creating my own reality since I can remember.
Wow. So with that thought, how would you talk to somebody that was in the position that you were in to get them to where you are now? How would you help them do that?
Well, I would just first I would try to help them, like I say, express the importance of recognizing your beliefs, your thoughts, your thought patterns, and understanding that you got like with beliefs, man. Is I found out that even though I didn't go to church, I had very, very, very core beliefs of Christianity from my parents, and I had to stump that out, man. I had to change them because just because I say I want to change and I change my thoughts, it's okay for me to sit back all day long and think something different. But if my beliefs is still on this, then that's what I believe. You know what I'm saying?
So what do you mean as far as the Christian beliefs? What affected you that so deeply with those beliefs that you knew you had to change? Because you said you weren't. I remember you saying you weren't necessarily a churchgoer, but you were immersed in that environment.
Yeah, I mean, I always thought that all my wrongdoings, I used to be like, well, I'm going to hell anyway. You know what I'm saying? So I might as well throw this on top of hell too. Shit, I'm going, or man, maybe like when I joined the church with my daughter, maybe I do need Jesus, man. I keep hearing I need Jesus. I'm a demon. I got one time my mom was throwing holy water on me. I fell asleep at her house. She sprinkling. I wake up, she's sprinkling holy water. You know what I'm saying? That all of that stuff. That's when I was young. I'm like, that stuff kind of like, and I'm like, well, damn, maybe that was my belief. Maybe I am just messed up. You know, maybe I am just wretched, like you say, rat. Maybe I'm fucked up like that. You know what I'm saying? That's how I was believing. You know.
And now you believe then that. How did that shift now?
Now I'm a divine, unique individual soul. I'm a human having a human. I'm a human having a. I mean, I'm a soul having a human experience. That's what I am now. Before I was like, I didn't know what I was. I didn't know if I was coming or going for real in my mind. Like it just was confusing because I was believing stuff that wasn't my beliefs.
Yeah,
they were just instilled in. You know, I look at life as lessons and challenges now. There's a lesson in everything that I do in my life every day, or a challenge. And it's just something I need to overcome and find out and ask why. I talk to myself a lot, but I'm just talking to myself to ask why. I put stuff on Front Street. I like to put stuff on Front Street that go through my mind. That's great. What's going on? You know what I'm saying? What's the problem? So that's just how it works for me, you know. But like I say,
so what is life like for you now? So you went through all of that culinary school. You got fired, and now you use these principles. What is life like now that you started to use these principles?
For me now that I own two businesses. I own a power washing business and a lawn care service. You know, and where the power wash and a remodel and a lawn care service, but two of them is separate entities. So I own two businesses and working on a coaching class, you know, coaching people, individuals through their stuck times, because there's times you're going to get stuck in this. This ain't going to just be no cakewalk. And every now and then, like even with me, like I get stuck right now, but I normally just watch one of our little video things and Zoom things, and it'll get me through or something. You know, watch some of that.
Gotcha.
It'll take me through what I need to be. But everybody got nobody to come to and talk to like that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah. No, and I know, and you've been with this man. You've been with the KCF family for it's been over a year. And I know, just when you first came, and hey, we even met. You came down here, and we met, and man, it was cool to meet you and stuff too. And but just knowing your heart, man, and how you like, and then how you enjoy just helping others, man. And I see that in the community. you're helping people all the time. Even, on your TikTok channel, man. I mean, you're like, giving that advice, about to people who have been who you were, or who are who you were, that to help them. So, man, I'm really glad that to have you in our community, have you doing a circle, because I know what you are doing is needed. And to me, your story is incredible, because I know so many brothers that just they're not able to make that shift, and you were able to do it. And so, man, to be able to be in a position to help others, man, through your wisdom and that you gained from it, man, that's just incredible. So I'm really looking forward to that. Now, what is your circle? So who are you going to be helping in your circle? What do they got to look forward to?
I'm gonna be helping from street life to a purposeful life. I'm gonna be helping people that's looking to transform from that street life. Everything that comes with it. That covers the whole battlefield, and they know
Yeah,
what they know what I mean when I say battlefield. They will know what I mean.
gotcha,
And
gotcha.
like
Now, how is that going to be different than when you were, say, how would the Kemetic way of doing that be different from, say, somebody that had a Christian mindset?
the Kemetic is the principles. The principles apply to all aspects. It doesn't matter what it is, what religion, what sex, or none of that. The principles, the Kemetic principles, is actually teaching the soul. You know what I'm saying? Showing the soul how to journey. And once you can talk a person out of understanding that they're a soul having a human experience, not the other way around. Because a lot of people think they're human having they don't even think about the soul for real. They just know they soul going to heaven or hell. That's
Right,
all that we think. So once they
right.
understand the soul, it changes the perspective of how things is viewed. For me, it does, and I think I can help people change their perspective, and change their outlook on life, and it's really not hard once you get it. Once you get
Yeah.
it, you got it. You
Yeah, and
can't go.
I think one of the biggest things from a Kemetic perspective, as opposed to a Christian, is that you're always dealing with that idea that you're a sinner, that you're broken, that you're born wicked, and you always have that undertone. So even when you're trying to help a person, that's the foundation of what you're looking at a person from, is that they're wicked and something is wrong with them, and I think ultimately, if a person cannot get past those ideas, I don't care what you build on top of it, it's a shaky foundation, but the Kemetic principles are that you're divine, and like you were saying earlier, everything that you do is a lesson, from a soul having a human experience. Everything you do is the soul is gaining wisdom from the experience that you are as a human. And there's nothing wicked about it. There is no heaven or hell to go to. You just learning, and what you don't learn in this life, you're gonna get to learn in another one.
Exactly.
You know?
Exactly. That's my point of. That's how I feel.
Yeah.
100%.
But you're not being punished by God. You're not, it's all of that stuff that we're taught as Christian is really negative programming. And it's negative programming that keeps us locked into negativity.
Yep.
Plain and simple. Plain
That's
and
it.
simple. Well, Michael, man, I'm so looking forward to what you're going to be doing and how you're going to be helping people on the platform, man. I'm really excited about what you had to offer, because I don't think that there's many people that have your perspective and that have your knowledge of the Kemetic principles that can help people in such a way that you'll be able to, man. Because I really think that your the impact that you're going to have is going to be something major, and I'm looking forward to what you can do on this platform.
I appreciate the opportunity, man. And I really look forward to helping humanity. So we all can get on one consciousness and change the world.
Absolutely, absolutely, brother. All right. Well, this is Reginald Kuakaru, and I'll be signing out. And Michael, we'll be seeing you in the platform, man, and seeing you in the group. So looking forward to it.
All right. Much love, family.